Good morning. It is Thursday, January 8th. The temperature is about 45 degrees, which is not common for January 8th in Wisconsin. But right now I'm heading into the barn because I need to feed the cows some hay, sweep up their food first, and then we have rain coming in about 2.5 hours or so. So I need to get some heifers bedded and bring some bales into the barn. Just some stuff like that before I clean barn, and hopefully get all that done before the rain comes. So hope you enjoy the video. Alright, next I need to feed them some hay, and I want to show what we've got for hay today. I believe this is probably second crop from the woods hay field. Now this stuff is pretty dry, but very leafy. And the stems, it's got stems, a little stemmy, but not above average on the stems, I guess. I don't know, I could say that better. I don't know how right now though. And still very leafy. So I'm assuming we must have let it dry an extra day and then just baled it up right away in the morning to keep some dew on it, so that we kept to the leaves but got some nice dry hay for the cows. So I'm going to feed them a bit of this now.
Thirteen and a half inches.
What are you planning on doing with this cart?
I'm planning on making it more stable.
Making it usable?
Being a fella who likes old things, I found this cool feed cart at an auction at a price that I thought was fair, so I purchased it. But it's a 3-point feed cart. 2 wheels, stationary, 1 steer wheel. Leaves it very unstable. I get a load in it. Happen to pull it over a little piece of silage or something this tall, and she wants to tip over, which makes me frustrated. So I'm making a trip to the Menards today for some other things I need, and I'm gonna see if I can maybe buy a pair of steer wheels and attach them on the corners, just like my other feed cart, and make it a little bit more stable.
Did you also mention that these are solid wheels?
They're solid wheels, yes.
So that makes it worse.
It does. It gives no give when you're going over a bump or anything. So, but I like to keep the old feed carts in use. It's something that has gone away with the change in farming. No manual feeding anymore, except here. We feed everything manually, so the carts come in very handy. We're taking all of our feed in through, well, somewhat narrow doors and narrower mangers, so it helps get the feed everywhere it needs to go. The trend in farming, and of course if you get large, even our herd can be a little big to feed by hand at times, but that's what we have kids for.
Now, why are you, as a man in Wisconsin, wearing a Pittsburgh Steelers sweater?
Well, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was a kid watching football in the 1970s when it seemed year after year after year, maybe 3 or 4 times, the Pittsburgh Steelers would always make it to the Super Bowl. Maybe it wasn't that many times, but often. To the Super Bowl, facing our neighboring team, the Minnesota Vikings.
And the Vikings never won.
The Vikings never won. I Actually, I didn't care who won. I liked both teams. I liked Fran Tarkington and a lot of the guys on the Vikings. They had all their football cards, but I liked Terry Bradshaw and Lynn Swan and Jack Ham and Franco Harris, all the guys on the Steelers. In Pittsburgh, the Rust Belt appeals to me just because it seems to me that's where work got done. And so the Steelers are a good old rusty snow belt team. I like the Steelers. Now they have my ex-quarterback,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Now on was that Sunday night you were watching?
Yes, and Wilson and I sat down for a good father-son football game Sunday night, and
watched Rodgers beat the Ravens, kind of.
Rodgers could have lost to the Ravens if their kicker could have put the ball between the uprights, but as it happens, the Steelers won, so I'm hoping
Well, Boswell couldn't get it through the uprights, neither could Luke. So.
Steelers-Packers Super Bowl, huh? Anyway, I keep telling Wilson, since he's new to football, I ask him, Wilson, do you know why Iowa does not have a professional football team?
Why is that?
Because if Iowa had a professional football team, Illinois and Minnesota would want one too.
This is true. Now, when I brought this hay bale in yesterday, I liked it because, in theory, it looked like very high quality hay. But the proof of that is the cows here, the ladies that actually have to eat it, they seem to love it. So, that's what matters. Next on the list is going to be taking this block of straw here off the back of the bedding bale, or the last of straw bale, and take it out and bed a couple super hutches for our smaller heifer group out behind the barn. It doesn't look like a whole lot to me, but I think I can spread it out pretty well. I gotta go grab the tractor and pull it up to the door here. Now, the camera really doesn't want to focus on my phone here, but figured I'd show the weather pattern that we're working with. So it's about little afternoon right now. As we move it along at about 2:10, 2:15, we're gonna start getting hit, and then maybe light to moderate rain through about 6 o'clock or so, and then it should be patchy after that. But I gotta get some heifers bedded, get some new straw in the barn, and hopefully clean barn before the rain hits. Well, now that they're all staying there eating, hopefully I can get this gate open and sneak in this pasture without them really caring. Alright, well that's one hutch bedded with a nice thick layer of bedding, so just gotta get the next hutch over filled up like this, and this job will be done. Alright, now that their hutches are bedded, and hopefully they have a dry place to stay when the rain starts falling, I need to switch over to the forks so I can bring a couple more straw bales into the barn for the cows. I had obviously already pulled the pins, because this mount for this loader uses pins rather than latches like a skid loader or a more modern loader would have. So I'm just lining them up and pick up and roll back. And now I'll have to put the pins in before I can put any weight on the forks or put anything on the forks. Alright, well, it'll be interesting to do this all while trying to hold the camera. But I need to, first of all, tip these bales down so that I can have the twine on the side of the bale and not underneath. Yep, there we go. Now, back up and grab this bale, set it on top of the other one, and then hopefully carry them on down to the barn. As you would imagine, it's pretty tricky while holding a camera, but there we go. Stacked on top of each other. Now grab the bottom bale and carry them down to the barn. A little bit of grinding into high range, but that's alright. There we go. Two more straw bales headed to the barn. Alright, pulling up to the barn, and because I don't want to risk anything sticking these 8-foot bales through this 8-foot doorway, I'm going to shut the camera off and resume film after I have them in the barn. Alright, there we go. 2 bales in the shed, and I also loaded up the rest of this bale into the feed cart, so after I clean barn I can bring another bale in here for tonight right away. Well, you asked the question, what are you doing?
Being cheap. This is slow dry bedding that can be placed back into the gutter to absorb tomorrow's load of crap. So I'm not ready for it to go out on the field today.
I don't think that's being cheap, I think that's being smart and efficient.
Well, that reminds me, one of the videos that you published a number of weeks ago got a comment asking how many cows a fella has to milk to make it at dairy farming. And I assumed it to be a very serious question from someone who quite possibly was wanting to get into dairy farming. And if I had the time, I would love to devote a video to answering that question, but the problem is there is no definite answer for that question. There's so many variables. But to be a farmer, especially a dairy farmer, you've got to be cheap.
You use what you've got.
You use what you got, and you learn how to do things yourself. Because there's no way you can hire people to do work, do construction work, do fix-it work, do any other kind of work that you could learn to do yourself. Because the money to pay all the professionals does not exist.
Even tell right here in the field from where I drove yesterday, it's very wet just on this top layer of soil because the ground is frozen underneath it and the water has nowhere to go. Alright, I'm gonna park the spreader here now that the barn is cleaned, and I have one more thing I need to do before milking time, and hopefully before the rain falls. I need to hook the bale knife onto this tractor, grab one of the bales that's sitting over there and take it in the barn and split it open for the cows tonight. Alright, I gotta take the plastic and strings off this bale, and then I will turn around and back up to it with the knife and slice it open. Alright, got that split nicely. I believe this is probably first crop from the woods. Could be second. It's a little different from what I had in here before. This is definitely has a lot more moisture in it. But I wouldn't say it's better or worse. It's good alfalfa hay. But praise the Lord, I got everything that I needed to get done before the rain done. So now I'm going to go inside and charge my camera and be back out in a little while for milking time. Suzanne had a calf on Tuesday. Baby girl. Yeah. Friendly. Very friendly. Yes, we expected. Doing very well. I don't know if she has a name yet. This is Suzanne. 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 Yeah, this is Suzanne. Girl who had a calf the other night. I don't know which number calf it was for her. Probably 3rd or 4th. Yeah. She's doing well. Along with her calf. How are you, Buford? You doing pretty good? You got to talk to everybody about your woes? Yeah. Well, now that milking's all done, it's time for the cows to have their largest and last meal of the day. I'm gonna be starting with this hay that I had loaded up earlier in the day, and then go to finish the barn with the hay that I brought in split.
Okay. Wilson has completed his evening, well actually overnight hay feeding. So he gives them supper. I tuck them in with fresh straw. They eat for however long they want to eat. We actually keep our lights on a timer. So the lights stay on till what time, Wilson? 9 o'clock?
I think about 9 o'clock, 9:30 in there somewhere.
So it gives them time to eat so they can see what they're eating. Then the lights go off and they probably go to bed eventually.
The other night I came up here after I got home from skiing and they were going to bed. I think it was right before the lights went off.
They can probably easily see to eat in the dark too if they want to. We do outside at night.
Suzanne should stand up so she can get some bedding under here. I guess she's just getting a nice blanket.
She'll be alright. Alright, well that does it. Cows are fed, bedded. I'm hungry. How about you, Wilson?
I've kind of been snacking all day, so I'm not that hungry.
Anyhow, thanks all of you for watching farming with us today. Like I say to the cows when I leave the barn, God bless you all. And we wish you a very good weekend and next week until we meet again.
Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night.
Oh yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.